Good morning, students. Welcome to the class. We were discussing polyesters. Polyesters were sold under many names: Dacron, Terylene, Codel. There were many names. Yesterday, we have seen the synthesis of Dacron. This polymer is called as Dacron. This polymer is called as Dacron or PET. As I said, there were 1600 different types of PETs. Please write the structure of this molecule, structure of the resulting polymer. So here we are using an ester instead of just a carboxylic acid. We are using an ester, methyl ester. So this is called a dimethyl terephthalate. Dimethyl terephthalate, when it is treated with 1,4 1 CH2OH 1,4 dihydroxymethyl cyclohexane. 1,4 dihydroxymethyl cyclohexane. When it is treated under thermal conditions, here we will be losing methanol, OCH3, and hydrogen from alcohol. So we will be losing a molecule of methanol, and you write the structure of the polymer. Dacron is also called as mylar, another name mylar. When dimethyl terephthalate reacts with this cyclohexane dialcohol, it generates this is carboxylic acid part, alcohol part, carboxylic acid part, alcohol part. So it will continue like this. When we look at the monomer, alcohol part and carboxylic acid part, this is the polymer chain. Now this polymer is called as Codel. This polymer is called as Codel. Now I request you to read the properties and the applications of polymers. Next we will see addition polymerization. What is addition polymerization? Addition polymerization is also called as chain growth polymerization. In addition polymerization, the length of the chain will grow in each and every step in one side. In a step growth polymerization, the length of the chain increases on both sides, right? But whereas in a chain growth polymerization, length of the side increases on one side only. Now, there are three possible mechanisms for the chain growth polymerization. They are radical polymerization, cationic polymerization, and anionic polymerization. These are the three steps. These are the three different types of chain growth polymerizations. And in each step, again, there are three steps. There are three steps in each mechanism, be it a radical polymerization reaction, or be it a cationic polymerization reaction, or be it anionic polymerization reaction. Each reaction is again classified. Each reaction mechanism contains three parts. They are chain initiation, chain propagation, and finally chain termination. So each mechanism contains all these three steps: chain initiation, chain propagation, and chain termination. Now, the choice of mechanism, that means whether we need to go for a radical polymerization reaction or a cationic polymerization reaction or anionic polymerization reaction. So that choice, the choice of mechanism depends on the structure, of the monomer and the initiator used to activate the monomer. We will discuss these three different types of polymerization reactions one by one. In a radical polymerization reaction, first a radical is generated and that radical is used to polymerization reaction. Now, I'll give some examples for radical initiators first. Radical initiators, or we can also call as radical generators. So these initiators are used as the source of radical in a organic reaction. Generally, homolytic cleavage under catalytic conditions will generate a radical. This is called as AIBN. This radical is famous as AIBN, azo isobutyronitride. What is this? Azo isobutyronitride, AIBN. This is a very famous radical initiator used in many organic reactions. When we heat this molecule AABN, then there will be a homolytic bond cleavage. There will be a homolytic bond cleavage. That means the bond between carbon and nitrogen will break down. Nitrogen will take one radical, carbon will take another radical. So similarly, this side also, one radical will be taken by carbon, another radical will be taken by nitrogen. So here we are generating radicals. That is why the generation of radicals is represented, or a polarization of radicals is represented by a half arrow. Half arrow. We use only half arrow, or this is also called as a fish hook arrow. Fish hook arrow. When there are polarization of two electrons, we use a complete arrow. Here there is a polarization of only a single electron. That is why we use half arrow. Now what happens? This isobutyronitrile will take one electron, then nitrogen, there are one electron on this nitrogen, another electron on this nitrogen, both will combine to generate the third bond between nitrogen and nitrogen. So this is N2 molecule. N2 molecule is a gas. Then again, this side also we have another isobutyronitrile. Butyrol means four carbons. One, two, three, one carbon in nitrile group. So four carbons are there. That is why it is called butyrol. And it is not a normal chain. It is a uh, it is not a normal chain. So that is why it is called isobutyronitrile. Now look at the stability of these radicals. These radicals are stable. Why? Why? Because it is a tertiary center. Carbon is a tertiary center. So when AABN is heated under thermal conditions, there will be a generation of two isobutyronitrile which are very, very stable. And here nitrogen gas is escaping from the reaction mixture. So there is no possibility for the backward reaction. So there is no possibility for the backward reaction. So this is an example for a radical initiator. We can also use peroxide reagents to generate radicals. First I'll take hydrogen peroxide and then I'll explain it. When we heat hydrogen peroxide, this will undergo homolytic cleavage. That means the two electrons in double bond will be shared between two hydroxy radicals. So this is common for any peroxide. This is dibenzoyl peroxide. One side PHCO, other side also PHCO. So when it is heated or when it is treated under thermal conditions, what happens? It will undergo homolytic cleavage between the peroxide bond. Oxygen bond is called as peroxide bond. So that peroxide bond will undergo homolytic cleavage. So it generates two molecules of carboxylate radical. Two molecules of carboxylate radical. So this is how we will generate radicals in an organic reaction. I'll give one more example for radical initiator. This is potassium persulfate. Potassium persulfate. When here also we have peroxide bond. So when it is treated under thermal conditions, we will generate a radical. You please try to write the structure of the radical generated. Now these are just some examples for radical initiators. That means in an organic reaction, if you want to have this organic reaction through radical intermediates, then radical in the monomer can be generated using these initiators. So these initiators, first they will generate radical. So this radical will react with the monomer molecule and then it will generate a monomer radical.